Hey everybody, it's me Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 7, Shots and Shade. We open with Danielle and Rachel, the new girls, shopping together for a luau party. Apparently at the softball game, Melissa invited everyone down to her shore house where she is hosting a big party just for the adults. And this year the theme is luau. So they're like bathing suit shopping, and these two are kind of bonding over being new girls and navigating the choppy waters of being a real housewife. They talk about where they're staying, and Rachel, as we know from past episodes, she and John have their own shore house. So she is going to be hosting Jen Fessler and Jeff Fessler, as well as Dolores. And Danielle and Nate are staying at the Aidens along with Teresa and Louie. I guess that means that Joe and Melissa are hosting Margaret and Joe, and probably Jackie and Evan, I assume. Danielle tells Rachel that she hasn't been down to the shore since I was 25. And then we get some flashbacks to, a wild 25-year-old Danielle. Then we learn that Danielle and Joe Gorga had kind of a serious heart-to-heart talk in the outfield at the baseball game. This was about her not speaking to her brother and Joe not speaking to Teresa. Danielle says that she believes that while there is hope for Joe and Teresa, that she and her brother's relationship is a lost cause. Then they discuss the warning about Margaret that they received from Jennifer and Teresa. And Danielle's like, I will say one thing. I think she's too hard on Jennifer. Because I think Rachel was kind of saying, look, Margaret has never been anything but nice to me. And Danielle kind of said the same thing. But Danielle is clearly, more influenced by Jennifer and Teresa than Rachel, who already had her own little thing with Jennifer. And your terrible nose job. So I think given that and the fact that she's gotten so close to Jen Fessler's close to Margaret, she's not entirely on board with what Danielle is saying right now. In fact, Rachel is kind of suspicious of why Danielle is so on board with being leery of Margaret. And Rachel said, is it just Teresa and Jennifer that have a problem with Margaret? And Danielle goes, well, they're the only two that brought it up to me. But it does make me think if one little thing happened, I'd be worried. Don't mess with a woman scorned. Rachel, huh? Danielle. Scorned, messed with. Scorned. Rachel goes, hurt? Yeah. And Rachel's like, okay, I don't really get it. And Danielle goes, oh my God, don't make me describe things other than my husband, who I will describe as an Adonis. Next, we are with Teresa at the Jewelry Expo. She is meeting Jennifer there. I guess Jennifer, I don't know, does her brother still have the jewelry? Maybe not. But whoever this person is knows her brother. So I'm sure this was a recommendation by Jennifer. Anyway, they're there for Teresa to pick out a gift for her bridesmaids. It's 4 weeks before the wedding, and I'm assuming now that Jennifer is there that she is not yet a bridesmaid. Because at first I was like, Jennifer's going to help pick out her own gift? That's a little weird. And I don't know the whole story. I don't know if Jennifer replaced Dina. I'm not even totally sure why Dina dropped out, if it was an innocent reason or if it was some kind of a fight. But I do believe that Jennifer and maybe Dolores were kind of last minute fill-ins as bridesmaids. I don't know. Anyway, they pick out little necklaces that say love because I'm all about love, love, love. So Jennifer said, you need earrings too. How are you going to wear your hair? And Teresa goes, half up, half down. And Jennifer goes, oh, half up, half down. That makes a statement. Oh, you have no idea. It definitely makes a statement. It also asks a question. How many pounds of hair is the human neck capable of supporting? I think we are testing the limits. Anyway, Jennifer mentions how nice it was at the baseball game that Joe was talking to Teresa. And Teresa goes, yeah, it just would have been nice if he and Melissa would have invited us to stay at their shore house. So Jennifer immediately agrees. I can't imagine not having my brother stay with me. Teresa, they should not have had Margaret stay with them and they should have me instead. Yeah, because you guys all would have had so much more fun that way. I mean, come on, Teresa, you don't want to stay with them either. I think you just wanted to be invited so that you could turn them down. I can't imagine if they invited you that you and Louis would have stayed with them. Anyway, Jennifer, of course, always the ride or die, said, it's just a constant reminder that they're Team Margaret. And then they both seem to conclude that it's because Margaret must have dirt on Melissa and Joe. Because no one could actually like Margaret. They just hang around her because she's got dirt on them. We cut to Melissa's house and she's describing the big luau that she has planned. She's like, I got a cigar roller. Is that a Hawaiian thing? I feel like that's more of a Cuban thing than Hawaiian, but I don't know. And I got 2 hula girls. Joe. Oh, how do they look? Like, what's their names? What's their names? Melissa goes, Shirley and Susie. I don't know. You asked too many questions, Joe. We cut to Paulie and Dolores, and Paulie is still recovering from his surgery, so he will not be going to the shore. Dolores will be solo, but she does tell Paulie that she's going to be staying at Rachel's house. And he said, where would you normally be staying? And she said, normally I would stay with Frank, but I'm doing things different this time, Paulie. And Frank's been a little emotional about it. Paulie, it's the right thing to do. You got to set some boundaries. He's got to let go. Dolores, I got news for you. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I mean, we all love Frank, but this is the right thing to do. And even though Britt is completely unbothered by Dolores's presence, much the way David was totally unbothered by Frank's presence in Dolores's life, they can separate a little bit. They can still be friendly. I know they're all in the same friend group or whatever. There can be a little more separation. We cut to the Aidens, and Jennifer shows Bill what she's going to wear to the luau. Whoa, that's pretty exotic. This looks like a skirt with sleeves. It's like backless, frontless, just sleeves attached to a skirt. It is actually beautiful. Like the color is really pretty, kind of an ombre blue. It just doesn't look like there's much to it. And Jennifer says, I was waiting for an occasion to wear it because it's going to be the first weekend we're there as adults. How old are they? I mean, they were there last year. Were they children last year? I know Jennifer's like in her 40s and Bill is like 406, according to Wikipedia. I should clarify, because that's not always accurate, particularly in the vampire community. It's difficult to get a precise age. 406, 407, give or take 50 years. Then they talk briefly about Dr. Judy, their therapist. Jennifer doesn't really like the way Bill communicates, so like philosophically. In her confessional, she's like, okay, Confucius, just support your wife. He does say that they need to, start loving each other the way they did on day one. So she agrees, and, I think that's their plan. All right, now we see Melissa and Joe arrive at their shore house. Rachel and John arrive at their shore house. And Bill and Jennifer arrive at their shore townhouse. They just purchased it, and Jennifer says in her confessional, we're so lucky they left all the furniture when we bought it. I even took the bed sheets. Yes, I did. There's no reason to dump any money into this. She's like, looks great to me. Oh, God. I love her. But also, are they making it an Airbnb? Because if not, if it's just your family staying there, girl, buy some fresh sheets. Oh, as I said before, Nate and Danielle and Teresa and Louie are staying with them. So now I kind of know why Teresa wanted to stay at Joe and Melissa's. Let Margaret sleep on the mystery sheets. We check in at Melissa and Joe's, and Margaret and Joe and Jackie and Evan are staying with them. We also see Jen Fessler and Jeff Fessler and Dolores arrive at Rachel's house. Okay, so I don't know the Jersey Shore at all, or how it's laid out or what it's like there. I've never been. But I would have to say that Bravo is painting a picture, and I don't know how accurate it is, but they are painting a picture of like Rachel and Melissa's homes being big and bright and airy and on the water, just beautiful. And Jennifer's townhouse being kind of smallish, dated decor, and right on the boardwalk, which sounds like it's not ideal. Bill is like showing Danielle and Nate, and he's like, right out there is the corner where all the fights break out. And Nate's like, wow, what's it like at 2 a.m., Bill? Screaming. Lots of screaming. I mean, I guess if you're into that, but I'm just saying, it sounds a little like Erica's shitty neighborhood. Meanwhile, at Melissa's, she and her guests are sitting out on her deck and they're having lunch and chatting. Margaret asks if her sisters are coming, and she said yes, and she goes, is Donna Marco coming? That's Melissa's mom. And Melissa goes, yep, Donna Marco's coming. How about your mom? Is your mom coming? Margaret, oh, no. Can I just tell you, my mother is driving me crazy. She's annoying me. At the baseball game, she went up to Teresa and she says, the wedding invitation. I saw it at Margaret's. It's beautiful. When's the wedding? And Teresa said, honey, you can come. Then we get a flashback, and what Teresa actually says is, yeah, I told her to bring you, pointing at Margaret. So Margaret's like, so Marge Sr. says, that's great, I'll come, Melissa. Why would she get an invite, but my mother not? I mean, Joe looks like he's going to be sick. But, okay, can we just all calm down for 1 second? Because Marge Sr. didn't get an invitation either. She saw Margaret's invitation. If you ask me, Teresa just got flustered and caught off guard. And she was trying to be nice and oh, I told her she could bring you. That is my best guess. I promise you, she didn't plan on Marge Sr. coming to her wedding. If she did, she would have had an invitation of her own. Unless she intended Margaret to bring Marge Sr. as her plus one and not Joe. Plus, I'm sorry, Marge Sr. was being shady by saying, oh, when is it? Almost like she was fishing for an invite. You said you saw your daughter's invitation. You know when the wedding was. I'm pretty sure it was on the invitation. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. At Jennifer's house, Teresa is telling her and Danielle that she has never spent the night at Melissa and Joe's shore house. I find that hard to believe. Did they just get it? I feel like we've seen it. I don't know. They had to have had it at least 4 years, I would say. And they weren't feuding all of that time. Anyway, the others are like, really? You've never spent the night there? And she goes, no. Gia asked if she could stay there once, but Melissa said no. Jennifer's like, Melissa said no? Yeah. But I just like it to be here around people that love me and want me here. Okay. That was weird, and I'm sorry. I have to believe that was out of context. If it wasn't, I would love to know the circumstances behind Gia asking if she could stay at their house and them just saying no. You know what I mean? Back at Melissa and Joe's, Joe is telling everybody about the conversation he had in the outfield with Danielle about her brother, and everybody comes to the same conclusion that there is more to the story than she's letting on. Her not speaking to her brother for 2 years cannot be over Instagram. And Jackie said, as somebody who hasn't spoken to her sister in a very long time, I think Danielle is leaving out a big piece of the story. Side note, I am so intrigued by how Danielle and Jackie off the bat just rubbed each other the wrong way. Anyway, can I just say this? Yes, there is more to the story than he just stopped following her on Instagram. And we know the story. And Melissa knows the story. In a nutshell, it's because she was too bossy and overbearing and got her nose too involved in her brother's wedding. And her future sister-in-law didn't like that or was intimidated by her. And basically, she kind of came after the new sister-in-law by saying, like, family comes first and you'll see. It was like kind of a little bit of a threat. And her brother chose his new wife. Didn't like the way Danielle was making his wife feel, and this was her wedding. And yeah, I mean, unless I'm totally remembering this scene wrong, and it was just Danielle telling us in a confessional, but I don't think so. Because I remember Melissa saying to Danielle's face, there's got to be more to it than that. And then Danielle was kind of like, well, he was getting married and blah, blah, blah. And said what I just said. So I don't understand why Melissa is now acting like, yeah, she also agrees there's probably more to the story, just like everybody else, but doesn't know what that story is. Jackie, I think she did something and doesn't want to look bad. I mean, she looks like a clearance aisle Snooki to me. And then they all laugh. Honestly, does Danielle look any worse than the rest of them? Her style is a little bit tacky, but it's Jersey. I think she fits right in with all the other ladies. Plus, I never really got the impression that Jackie herself was the height of fashion. And not that she dresses bad. I never looked at her and went, oh, Jackie is an impeccable dresser. Okay, now we see a little montage of everybody getting ready for the luau. Teresa is all about love, love, love tonight. So yeah, she's not going to start trouble. To be fair, that has been her game plan before, and it hasn't worked out so well. So we'll see. And Jennifer and Bill's room, they're getting ready. And Bill's game plan is to not get kicked out. Bill's like, as far as Marge goes, let's carry ourselves with class tonight. Jennifer, I need a shot. I'll show her what disheveled really means. Oh boy. Okay, everybody is arriving. All of the cast, including the friends of, and a whole bunch of extras are here as well for this luau. Margaret, of course, right away has to start trouble. Lady, just relax and have a drink. Don't you ever just want to have fun? She wants to clarify with Rachel that Teresa warned her about her. And Rachel's like, yeah, you're better to have as a friend than an enemy. And when I was shopping earlier with Danielle, she told me that they told her that you come with an arsenal of information on each person, like a dossier of facts on each of the other ladies. And Margaret's like, locked and loaded with information? No. And I'm not judgmental. I may be opinionated. Meanwhile, some hijinks is brewing with the bros. Yeah, it involves Wax and Joe Gorga giving John Fuda some payback for the time that he brought diapers to the bros night. There has to be some retaliation for that. Now Melissa comes around and Margaret tells her what Rachel just told her about the arsenal comment. And Melissa goes, oh, an arsenal? Oh, like a book? Sure. At Margaret's confessional, she said, her and Teresa are a lot more alike than people think. Now everyone's getting shots poured directly down their gullet. Side note, you guys, why do I have so much empathy for the workers at these private parties? I've never done anything like that in my life, so it's not like I have a real understanding of what it's like. I don't know. It's like I get in the heads of now I'm imagining I'm Shirley and Susie, and they're just standing there while everybody's drinking and getting stupid. Nobody's paying attention to them. It feels so sad to me to be a performer at a private party. Oh, good. Now Margaret is confronting Teresa. If we had made up, why were you warning people about me, Teresa? I don't remember saying that. Okay. Normally, Teresa flat out denies something. This must have caught her so off guard. She must not have caught wind that this Margaret was going to say this. Anyway, she's like, I didn't say anything negative. Rachel's right there, so Margaret's like, well, that's what she said. And Teresa goes, are you trying to start trouble with me and Margaret? Because that's what it sounds like. Rachel, we were having a conversation. I'm going to be transparent with her. That's exactly what you said. Teresa's like, that's like high school. In her confessional, Teresa says, I don't like Rachel. Run into Margaret and twist in my words. And then we see a flashback, and those were exactly Teresa's words. There was no twisting there. So Teresa tries to kind of spin it like, I'm just saying, like, you're ruthless if somebody crosses you. I am too. And Margaret goes, but Teresa, I wouldn't warn people about you. I mean, and you probably should, though, right? Now we hear in the background the bros chanting, Fuda, Fuda, Fuda. And they're just pouring alcohol down his throat. Somehow Margaret and Teresa end up okay. And now we cut to Joe Gorga pouring 2 bottles of alcohol down Bill's fang hole. And now it is time for the hula dancers to start their show, plus 1 vampire. Yep. Bill has joined them. So much for showing Marge how classy they can be. Bill is now crawling around on the ground. And Jennifer, although upright, is also pretty wasted. Now there's a scene with Teresa and Louie talking to Jen Fessler, Margaret, I think Rachel is there, Dolores. And they're talking about their wedding, which is just a couple weeks away. Jen Fessler said, we were talking about Melissa's mother not being invited. Ooh. All right. She went there. Jen Fessler's like, and how that's an oversight. Teresa, it's not an oversight. We have a history, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Then we cut to Teresa's confessional, and the producer said, so what is your history there? Can you explain it to us? Teresa, okay, I guess I'm just going to be honest. I'm listening. 10 years ago, I got busy, and I guess they got jealous. And Melissa's mother and sisters were writing stuff about me on social media. Okay, now we see a couple of the tweets. Her one sister, Lisa, tweeted, here's how you know Teresa is lying. She's talking. Her mom, to be fair, just tweeted something like, I try and keep the peace. I'm just upset with Teresa and the girls for the hurt that Joe is going through. Not really that bad. But to Teresa's point, her mother would never have done something like that. I would have to agree. I don't think my mom would have gotten involved in anything like that. And so Teresa has just kind of kept her distance since then, as she is entitled to do. As I said before, in my opinion, the bride can invite to her wedding whomever she would like. Period. So then Louie announces that he spoke to Melissa's mom tonight. And Teresa goes, oh, you did? Louie, yeah, I did. And I apologized to her. I'm not part of your 10, 20-year legacy with her. So we get a flashback to him kind of apologizing and saying, I'm so sorry about the wedding. And she goes, don't worry about it at all. And Donna was very cool about it. Louie was very cool about it. So now the ladies were trying to say you could have invited Donna Marco and not Melissa's sisters. Teresa disagreed, how do I invite the mother and not the sisters? But they're like, oh, no, the mother's different. That's different. So she tells Louie, you can invite her if you want. And he doesn't hesitate to be like, okay. And he takes off to go find her. But I think she left already. So now we just see little bits of the party. The ladies are taking a picture together. And it is now time to wax John Fuda. Side note, why does everything that the Jersey bros do have to be so homoerotic? Joe is smearing warm wax all over John Fuda's chest, while all the other bros have their hands on him for some reason. If I were Louie, I'd be like, you thought my video was bad? You guys are a half step away from being naked right now. Now Jackie talks to Jennifer. I thought those two were going to be this really funny kind of dynamic duo. I don't think it's going to turn out that way, especially not after tonight. I don't know if Jackie's trying to get Jennifer and Margaret to start speaking again. She just said that Margaret thought you guys were good. And Jennifer said, just because we made up doesn't mean we're friends. Which is true. Jennifer's like, she did something that hurt our children. Olivia has suffered trauma because of it. In her confessional, Jackie's like, look, I know what it's like. I know that there are ramifications for saying that someone's father cheated on their mother. Did you hear about Evan? You know, like doing stuff. Like stuff, you know, like at the gym. So I do think Jackie was feeling empathetic to Jennifer. So now Jennifer's just like complaining about Bill not being on the same page with how they're raising the kids and how hard that is. Bill wants the kids to be getting straight A's and he thinks that Jennifer is raising them to be average. And she's like, do not say my children are average. Well, straight A's or not, Olivia will never be average. I don't care if she ends up being on stage or a love therapist. You cannot call her average. So anyway, Jackie's like, that's a lot. And she hugs her. Jennifer's like, thank you. And I feel like Jennifer felt like understood by Jackie. I should have known this was going to happen, but it's a little bit later now. And of course, Jackie has to bring up Danielle. She says, I understand why people like her because like she can be a fun time, but I just think there's a part of her that's not very nice. She's telling this to Margaret, Jen Fessler, and Teresa. Again, Danielle is not far away. And she goes, I hate hearing my name in conversations I'm not involved in. I guess it reminds her of her childhood when she was bullied. And she goes and finds Nate, and the two of them sit down together kind of away from everybody else. And she tells him about it and that she doesn't know what to do. And he's like, well, what are they saying? And she couldn't hear exactly. She also didn't know who it was, but she said everybody is surrounding Margaret. So she kind of suspects it's Margaret. I mean, normally a good guess, but this time it was Jackie. Now Rachel and Melissa kind of wander over to the group of ladies, and Jackie goes, we're calling BS on Danielle's story. She doesn't talk to her sibling because he unfollowed her on Instagram. There's no chance that's the whole story. Melissa, this is your chance. Tell them we'll know it actually isn't the whole story. Here's what it's really about. Did Melissa forget that she knows? I don't know. Melissa actually kind of wanders away and goes to find Danielle and Nate, and she goes and sits down by them. And she says, are you okay? Danielle, yeah, I just hear my name in several conversations. Melissa, well, who's talking about you? Danielle's like, I don't know, but they're all standing around Margaret. You got a problem? What do you want to say? Melissa, well, don't get all upset. I only heard your name in one conversation, and I'm just going to tell you. How do I say this? You told us the situation with your brother, and they just kind of feel like something's missing. Like we're not getting the whole story from you. It's like with me and Teresa. There's my side, there's Teresa's side, and there's the truth somewhere. Danielle, honestly, Melissa, I can't hear a word you're saying right now. My insides are ready to go nuclear. So instead of that, she grabs Nate and she decides to leave. So she finds Jennifer and Teresa and she's like, are you guys ready to go? Can we go? Are you ready to go? And they're like, what's wrong? I'd like to go. So Teresa goes, okay, yeah, let's go. So they grab their guys and they head into the Sprinter van. In the van, Danielle says, I opened up about my brother to a group of friends, and everybody's talking about me. I don't do well with that. Teresa, Jackie was the one that started that. And then Jennifer adds that there being another side to that story is the narrative that Jackie was pushing. I thought you and Jackie had a moment earlier, Jennifer. Totally threw her under the bus there. I mean, she didn't lie. It was Jackie, and that is the truth, but I'm just saying. So Danielle, who's, fighting going nuclear inside of her body, says, the one person you don't want to have as an enemy is me. Now, prior to this, I was being told it was Margaret, that you wanted as a friend and not an enemy. Oh, I don't know, you guys. That is it for this episode, though. Thank you so much for being here. These are fun. I don't know where it goes from here. I'm excited for Teresa's wedding, though. As always, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, and please click on the bell icon to get notifications every time I post something new. All of those things matter in the algorithm, and it helps my channel greatly. Also, if you're wanting to help me, I am an Amazon affiliate, and if you happen to be shopping on Amazon, if you go through one of my links in the description box below, if you purchase anything, I will get a small credit for those things in your cart that are qualifying. So thank you for that in advance, and that's it. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.